morning, everybody, and welcome to another WC Conversation. We're here today with Carolyn Melnyk from Alberta Labor and Immigration, and she's a workforce consultant for the ministry in our region. We also have on this conversation, we have Wendy Gerbrandt, who is the Community Economic Development Officer for Community Futures Wild Rose in the Wild Rose region with Nehill County, Wheatland County, and she's based out of Strathmore and the communities within these regions. As well, we have Jamie Kramble here, the new Economic Development Officer for Wheatland County. And myself, I'm Patrick Earl. I'm the outgoing Economic Development Officer for Wheatland County. So welcome, everyone, and welcome, Carolyn. Just wondering, can you give us a bit of overview of what you do for the ministry and some of the stuff you're working on?
I can do that. Thanks, Patrick. As you mentioned, I'm a workforce consultant, and I'm a part of a team of 17 workforce consultants from across the province. And we have a variety of roles that we play in our different regions. Probably the most critical one is working with employers and stakeholder groups to help them address issues related to the workforce and development of the workforce. But we also promote new government programs. We gather labor market information that informs the government as they develop new programs and policy. And the labor market information that we collect is valuable because it's on the street type of labor market information, what we gather from talking directly to employers, as opposed to just all of the statistical data that people think about when they often think about labor market information. We also work with stakeholder groups and employers as they explore applying for one of our programs called Labor Market Partnership Grants. And I'm going to talk with you a little bit more about those in a few minutes. But those are the key things that we do. I'm a workforce consultant. I work out of Calgary, but I work with communities east of Calgary as well. So that includes Wheatland County and quite a few other communities east of the city. There's 4 programs that I would like to chat with you about this morning that I think if you're an employer in this region, you may be very interested to learn about these programs. The first one is a recently announced program called the Alberta Jobs Now program. And the government of Alberta is very focused on helping Albertans get back to work. And this program is an example of their commitment to that. The program provides funding to private sector businesses and nonprofits to help them reduce the costs of hiring and training Albertans for new jobs. So the Alberta Jobs Now program will provide up to $370 million to help private sector businesses and nonprofit organizations across all industries. Through this program, employers can apply for a grant equal to 25% of a new hire's salary, up to $25,000 per employee for the first year of their employment. Employers can also hire a person with a disability, and when they're doing that, they can apply for a grant equal to 37.5% of the new hire's salary, up to $37,500. And employers can apply for up to 20 full-time hires per intake period. And the grant can be used for salary or for training costs. And training can include not only training provided by a third-party training provider, but also for on-the-job training. The first intake period for the Alberta Jobs Now program is open. It opened on May 20th, and it will run until August 31st, 2021. There will be a second intake period, and that period will open on September 15th, 2021. There will be a third intake period that will be announced later in the year. And as I said, businesses and nonprofits located in Alberta may apply at any time until the application intake closes. So this is a great program. I'm excited about it. I think that, with our economy right now and with the reopening of many businesses, I believe that there will be lots of employers that may be able to take advantage of this wage subsidy program. The second program that I'd like to chat with you about, and some may have heard of it, but some may not, it's the Canada-Alberta Job Grant program. And this is a training program where an employer applies on behalf of their present or future employees, for eligible training costs. So employers decide who gets training and what type of training may be needed for their employees. Eligible employers are required to contribute a minimum of 1/3 of the total training costs for existing employees. Government contributes 2/3 of the cost to a maximum of $10,000 per trainee per fiscal year. And if an employer is hiring and training an unemployed Albertan, up to 100% of training costs could be covered, up to $15,000 per trainee. And individual employers will have a cap of $300,000 for the amount of grant funding they can receive per fiscal year. And this is just to ensure that funding is available for as many Alberta employers as possible. So you may be thinking about Alberta Jobs Now and Canada-Alberta Job Grant. Both will cover training, and they can be used in conjunction with each other. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to claim twice for the same training for a particular employee. But if you wanted to use the Alberta Jobs Now and use that to pay the salary of an employee, you could use the Canada-Alberta Job Grant to upskill them or to give them training. The critical thing to remember with the Canada-Alberta Job Grant is that it does not cover on-the-job training. So if you want to provide training to your employee that is on the job, then you would have to have that covered under the Alberta Jobs Now program. And I'm going to be providing you with links to these programs, and you can definitely go on and look into the finer details of what it would be like to apply for these two programs. Another way that workforce consultants work with employers in their regions is through the Labor Market Partnership Grant Program. And this program is intended to enhance workplace development and help with labor market adjustment strategies through community partnerships. So what does that mean? That means that, we work with, again, community partners, employers, stakeholder groups to address issues related to the labor market and development of the labor market in different regions. So basically, labor market partnerships are designed to identify, develop, and support projects with industry organizations and community groups with common labor market needs or challenges. So basically, effective collaboration among the community partners through the Labor Market Partnership Grant improves the capacity of stakeholders to deal with workforce demand and to implement labor force adjustments. It contributes to development of the labor market, which in turn may result in improved balance between the supply and demand, as well as economic growth on a regional or provincial level. So we really, I like to work with my partners on grants. It's a great way to address issues and challenges in the labor force within your region, so you can get a regional feel for things or address regional issues. And lastly, I'd like to just let you know that the critical worker benefit, you may remember the critical worker benefit from earlier this year. The benefit provides a one-time payment of $1,200 to eligible Albertans in recognition of their hard work to provide Albertans with care and critical services that they need. So through the benefit, the government of Alberta will distribute up to $465 million in funding to eligible workers. And I wanted to let you know today that a second phase of this program has opened, and new categories of workers in the social services and private sectors are now eligible. Employers have until Friday, July 23rd, 2021 to apply. And I will be adding the link for this in the notes for our conversation today. And I would encourage employers to go on and look and see if any of their employees are now eligible to receive the critical worker benefit. So those are the four key pieces of work that I'm involved in right now that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much, Patrick, for inviting me and for the opportunity to just let everybody know what's happening through the government of Alberta.
Thanks, Carolyn. So if employers have questions about these programs, do they reach out to you directly, or is it through the website? What way can they ask specific questions?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I'm always available to talk to employers. If you're looking for details related to your particular situation, it's probably better for you to connect directly with the programs. And all of these programs have an email address where you can email your questions, or they have a phone number, a toll-free call line where you can call and ask questions. So if you're looking for things that are very specific to your situation, it's probably better to connect with them. If you're looking for kind of broader questions about where to find information, I'm always available to help. Or if you would like a presentation on any of these particular programs for a group of employers or stakeholders, I'm always available to do that as well.
Perfect. Great. So does anybody have any questions for Carolyn?
Carolyn, I have just one. For the are all of the Canada Job Grant and the newest one there, sorry, the latest
Alberta
program.
Jobs Now?
Yes, Jobs Now. Are they all open to entrepreneurs and their family, or is it one or the other, and is it just for a certain time frame?
Okay, well, it depends when you say entrepreneurs, how their business, then this is a bit of a detailed question that I would probably encourage people to connect with the program. But
Okay.
in terms of entrepreneurs, it would really mean the critical piece would be to know how long their business has been up and running and whether they have an Alberta corporate access number. In terms of, I think you asked about family members. There's all programs define what family members are, and that can be found on the website for each program.
Okay.
I have a question as well, Carolyn. So, Carolyn, sorry, you discussed that you cover Calgary and East. Which counties do you cover in your role? Is it everything to the Saskatchewan border from Calgary, or?
No, actually we don't sort of do things by county, but okay. I mean, Wheatland County is just part of my region, but right. I also work as far as Drumheller. Oh. And but then, you know, like Brooks and those communities are covered by my colleague Melanie Friesen, who works with Medicine Hat. So where kind of my line ends, another workforce consultant would pick up those communities. But you know, as far east as and kind of north for me as Drumheller.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And again, if people aren't sure, and they've got questions, please call me, and I will make sure that if I can't help you, one of my colleagues can.
I also assume that you, Carolyn, that you work a lot because jobs, economy, and innovation, that ministry is also working with small business and development that way, that there's a lot of crossover and supports between the ministries. So with the programs that you work through, that there's probably quite a bit of collaboration and support ministry to ministry as well, right?
Very much so. Yes, and it is a little bit confusing for people, you know, who covers this? Is it JEI, Jobs, Economy and Innovation, or is it Labor and Immigration? And yeah, we work collaboratively. So if I feel like my colleagues can be of more assistance to somebody who's inquiring, then I'm you know, more than happy to refer them over and vice versa. So you're right, there is a lot of collaboration and a lot of what looks like overlap sometimes when we're looking at what we all do to support our communities.
Sounds good. And yeah, so Jamie, do you have anything else, or?
Nope, I think that covered it, Patrick. Thank you.
Okay. And Carolyn, any sort of last comments you want to put out there for us and for people who will be listening to the YouTube and the podcast?
Well, you know, I think that what I'd like people to know is that I'm definitely available to support the communities in this region. And if you have any questions that are tied to the labor market or to challenges with attracting and retaining employees, feel free to call me. I'm available, and if I can provide any assistance, I will. Or if I can direct you to other people that may be able to support you, I'm here to do that.
Sounds good. And I know we've worked quite a bit with Wendy. I noticed she had to drop off the call, but we work a lot with Wendy and you on just discussing, yeah, the labor patterns and looking at data and everything like that to work and support in the region. So again, I appreciate all of that effort that you've been doing with us in the region and Community Futures, and hope there's some programs we can do with the labor market partnership in the future, and seeing what can be done there. So with that and working with Jamie now
Yes.
to try to push some of those ideas and concepts and potentially do some grant work going forward. So
Excellent.
great.
Yeah, no, Patrick, it's been a pleasure to work with you. I know that you're on your way out, and I'm very sad that you're leaving, but happy for you as you explore a new part of your career. And I'm looking forward to working with Jamie.
Thank you. Yeah, as well.
Excellent. Okay, well, I think we're good. And again, thanks, Carolyn, and appreciate your time today. And yeah, for everybody else, this conversation will be posted on our YouTube, WC Conversations. Just do a search for that on YouTube and on our podcast platforms. So we're on 6 of them: Spotify, Apple, Google, plus a few others. And again, do a search for WC Conversations to find this podcast. And again, thanks, Carolyn. And it's been great working with you for the few years that we've done this and a few years in the past. It's been great. Thank you.